Good boy, Tucker.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome.
Work smarter where you want.
Consistency is key.
And remember, if it's not in Redtail, it never happened.
This is learning at its most fun.
Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Thursday webinar. My name is Jonathan Maddock, and today we're going to be talking about Redtail Essentials accounts. Really big day today within the Redtail timeline. We are turning 16 years old today. Super big. Very excited about that. So that's why I got a little bit extra decoration today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. We are going to be talking about accounts. This is kind of where that money lies, those numbers that we want to deal with on a daily basis. Great thing about Redtail is that there's so many integration partners that are going to be able to allow you to pull that information in, whether it's you're using a custodian or a broker dealer or anything like that that's feeding in those account feeds. It's very, very powerful to go ahead and have that quick glance at what you're managing, while the client's on the phone and not having to launch another program. So to go ahead and get started, we're going to talk about the Today page because there's quite a bit within the account section that's right when you log in. First and foremost, as we see this AUM right here in the front, this is going to be the database accumulation of all of the assets that you're managing. So all of your open accounts will go ahead and show here. But again, it is database wide. You also have this tab here for accounts. By clicking either the AUM or the accounts, it's going to go to the same location. So we'll go ahead and just click accounts. And once we're in here, we're going to see kind of like a dashboard of what we have, overview of what we're currently holding. So to kind of break these down, you're able to go ahead and click into any one of these, whether it's open, pending, under review, or closed. By clicking into either one of these, you're going to go ahead and launch really what was a report. So it's account by status is what you're going to be accessing. So just know that once you go ahead and click into that, you can do some filter options, very similar to if you were in the accounts report. So that is going to be those sections up there. Just kind of very quickly, it's just nice to be able to see, where we're at, how many accounts do we have open, things like that, if we've closed things. You can also search by accounts by type. So you can see a list or a pie chart. It's going to go ahead and show you those accounts by type. Now, this is a database list. So you have every ability to go ahead and adjust these types. So if there's something in here that you don't see, or if there's something in here that you'd like to add, you can certainly go ahead and do that in the Manage Database Lists section. Account summary is also going to show you your total AUM, kind of what was displaying on the Today page. And then it's going to give you kind of an average portfolio balance. So number of clients versus the amount of AUM. It kind of gives you an average of that. So clearly we're doing pretty well. The last thing that I want to touch on here, and this is actually really important for those of you who are going to be taking advantage of an account feed and don't want to put in everything manually, you can go ahead and head over to the unlinked accounts. By doing this, you are going to see every single account that is being pushed in through a broker dealer, through some sort of custodian or a broker dealer, some sort of account feed. So, we have hundreds out there. I'm going to be submitting some help desk documents to the articles once it's posted. So if you have any questions about that, there's tons of information out there. But what you're going to go ahead and see is everything that's going to be coming over. You're going to see the account title, the account number, and then a tax ID number. So this is going to be really important. You're going to see that there's 3 red asterisks right here. And what that means is that there is a social security number on file that matches a contact in my database. So if I were to go ahead and search that tax ID number, the contact record would come up, and I can see that I can very quickly link these 3 accounts to that contact record in my database. Now, the way I do that is if I see the red asterisk, I can hit the run auto link, and that is immediately going to remove them from this list and attach them to the contact record. Whereas if we do not see that red asterisk, that means that we are missing the tax ID number that matches this account. So what we can do is we can either go in and start cleaning up all of our tax ID numbers within the database so that we do see things that match. Or if you know that this account belongs to, I don't know, Corey Matthews, what we can do is we can search Corey as a contact and then automatically link it this way. So that way it's not matching based off of the tax ID number, but we're just automatically manually linking it and saying, hey, this account goes with this contact. Good to go. I advise that you go ahead and put those tax ID numbers on file. It's just going to go ahead and make things a lot easier. And plus, we want to have that good data anyways. So again, you can manually link an account, or you can run that auto links feature, and that's going to go ahead and push those over to the specified contact record. So let's go ahead and let's jump into a contact record, and we'll kind of take a look at what we can do within the account section. Perfect. All right. So once you're in a contact record, you're going to go ahead and see a couple things that jump out at me. Was one, portfolio balance. So that's going to be pertaining to the accounts that we have coming over or that we've manually inputted into the account section. You also can access the accounts on the left-hand side. So you will see accounts. Either one of these, you can click into either one of them. They're going to bring you to the same location. So I'm going to go ahead and click into accounts on the left-hand side. And it's going to open up all the accounts that I have open for this contact. Now, you'll see that we have a overall balance at the bottom. So this contact is currently just over 1 million in assets. And then we can also go ahead and jump into any one of these accounts. So we'll go ahead and just click into, actually, I think that's not the one I want. It works. Perfect. So what you're going to go ahead and see here is we have just by clicking in, we have a number of different fields that we can go ahead and populate. But the biggest one is we can go ahead and click the account, and you're going to see that the update account information is going to be here. Now you do have the ability to adjust the account number, and it can be marked really any way you desire. This is going to also affect accounts that are having a feed coming over, because you essentially can do two things. You can create a shell, and you can just say, hey, this is the account number. I want to create a shell, and it's got no assets attached to it, right? So we can go ahead and I'm going to show that example with my own personal contact record. Have no fear, this is none of my real information, so if you're trying to figure out if I'm a valuable client of yours, I don't think it's going to be all that great. So if we go ahead and take a look at the account section within Jonathan Maddock, you're going to go ahead and see if I have this account number here, and I go ahead and click into it. We'll go ahead and click into the account number. You're going to see that I have essentially just a shell. Okay, so a lot of this data is manually inputted. However, what you will see is that I have the account feed towards the bottom. So now this account feed is going to link an account that is attached based off of the tax ID number. So you do have the ability to create a manual account, go ahead and create the shell, maybe put some assets in there that you feel are necessary, or maybe you're using it for more of a fixed annuity, or maybe tracking some life insurance, whatever it may be. You can go ahead and create the shell. And then once you have your account data feed set up, you can then link the account number that should be feeding into the account that you've created. So I could go ahead and select this, update the account, and then I would start getting updated information about that account in this shell. Now, with an account feed, you are going to get yesterday's close today, right? So I'm going to get yesterday's market close balance in today's account feed. So obviously, if I'm looking at it today, the market hasn't even closed yet. So we're, pretty much what the information that I see is pretty up to date. Now, again, I just want to reiterate, you have the ability to create manual accounts or have them being fed in with an account feed. Now, if you want to go ahead and set it up an account feed, it's actually very simple. You can just give us a call on the support lines and say, hey, I'd love to set up my account feed. They're going to ask you some unique identifiers based off of who you're working with. So if you're an RIA, you're working with a broker dealer, and they'll ask things like, rep social, rep ID, PUID, things like that, that will then allow you to go ahead and just determine, hey, who you are, what account feed should be coming over, and then you're good to go there. But again, you reach out to our support team to go ahead and get that started. Then you have the ability, once the account feed is set up, you do have the option to go ahead and make modifications to any one of these fields. So you can adjust the account number, even though it's being fed over from this account number. I can go ahead and leave that the way I want it to be. So you can say something like, retirement account, or you can just leave it with the account number, or you can go ahead and do something like, if you don't want to show the whole thing and you just want to end the last two, so we can go 095, and then that way I know that I'm not showing the whole account number. I'm just showing a portion of it, but it's still being fed over from this account feed number. Let's see here. So then once we're all good there, we can start taking a look at the information that will come over. You will see asset name, symbol, shares, and price is what's going to be pushed over through the account feed. That will then make up a balance. So those are generally the 4 fields that are going to come over. And generally you can do most things that, you're not going to be able to adjust it's not going to come over as whether it's tax qualified and those like that. Those are options that you're going to have to select manually. The account type is going to be something that you're going to want to adjust. And so those are things that you will have to do manually. But then as we get into the account, we can start kind of jumping through, kind of taking a look. So we have the account number. A lot of that basic information is going to be what is in here when we click in. So account number, company, just kind of gives us a better view as we scroll into the account. Beneficiaries, writers. So if it's, any sort of agents that are maybe sharing this account, you're doing some dual work, or beneficiaries, maybe if there's, some account beneficiaries that we want to go ahead and put on there. I know BICE was kind of a big deal when we got into that DOL scare. So we added BICE dates here, so you can still go ahead and fill that out, put that in within the account information. Now, this is going to be really important, is down in ownership. Now, I get asked this quite a bit of, hey, how do I work with, trusts? Okay. So when it gets into trusts, we want to make sure that we're using the object of, a contact type trust. Okay. So when we go ahead and add something to the database, we're going to hit contacts, and you're going to see that we have a trust type. Now, this is going to be important when you have a trust that has its own tax ID number. So you can go ahead and create that. You can have it pushed in with the account feed because it has a tax ID number. Now that trust is being populated. However, what I get asked quite often is, hey, I'd love to, Jonathan Maddock is actually the owner, or he's the executor, or he's the, of that trust. So I want to go ahead and put it under his, assets. However, it does have its own tax ID number, so it's going to be coming in from another feed. Okay, well, that totally is a reasonable scenario. So what we can actually take advantage of is this ownership right here. So when you go ahead and go into ownership, you can actually select the owner or a joint owner. So this is perfect for people who are dealing with trusts, because you can create the trust as an object, as having the accounts being fed in, so the balances are updated. Then what I can do is I can say, hey, well, Jonathan's actually the owner of the trust, or he's kind of managing everything, and I want to make sure that I see everything that he has in one location. So what we can do is we can go ahead and add any sort of trust that I have available to me. So we'll go ahead and search trust, and I have the Jones Family Trust. I can then go ahead and link this, so that way this balance of the trust is coming up into Jonathan's balance as well. Now, you will obviously get some sort of duplicate, right? Because I'm going to see it in Jonathan's area and also in the trust section as well. So you're going to see that balance both times. But it should not reflect your AUM. You're just going to see it in two places. So you can go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and jump back into Corey Matthews so that we can see that example here. And let's see here. Did we do that? No, but we can go ahead and click into a joint account that has already been set up. And you'll see that we have that joint owner because that is his spouse. So the joint ownership is going to be there. Now, this is going to be really important even outside of trust, but more getting into the family accounts. Because if I go into accounts within a contact record, and again, if I can't explain it, if you've listened to anything I've said over the last 2.5 years I've been here, whether you've been at RTU or listened to me on some of the webinars, I can't stress this enough. When we talk about foundation and building things, talking about database lists and creating families and all of that, it is so pivotal that we build on those blocks, because if I don't have families set up, I won't be able to see a household view of what I'm managing. Okay. Because when I'm in the account section, if I head over to options on the right-hand side, I can go into show family accounts. And this is going to show me all of the accounts within a family. So the Matthews family, I now have 17 accounts opposed to Corey's 12. So I've added 5 accounts from his spouse. Now, if I scroll down, I'm going to see that the balance increased about 130,000 or so. And that's because I have family accounts added in. So this is Topanga. She's the family member. That's why it's showing here. So again, you have the ability to see at individual level, but then also on the family level. And I love this for people who are doing, joint or kind of manage everything from a household, right? I'm meeting with the households. I'm not meeting on an individual level. So this is a great little view that you can go ahead and adjust here. So now that we're back in this, account section, you can also see that you can hide the family accounts so that way I don't see those other 5. And that's going to be in the options here. You also have the ability to hide primary, non-primary joint accounts. So if there is a joint account, I don't want to see that, I can go ahead and hide those. But again, you're going to see that they're going to still be here, but that's because he is the primary on those accounts. So those are some options there. And again, that's within the accounts tab. You can go ahead and add account. We talked about adding an account manually. You can hit the add account button, go ahead and build out that account number, that shell, and then at a later date, you can have it, updated with that account feed. You also have, if you have Riskalyze turned on, you're going to see, some of these, this icon here. If you have Morningstar, any integrations, you're going to have more options within the accounts section. So you'll see we have Morningstar turned on, we have Riskalyze turned on. We even have Advisory World turned on, which this is super, super cool. So for any of you, any of those out there who are not Advisory World, customers, you still have the ability to get this, these 4 options here without being a user of Advisory World. So it's already built in. So you can generate a fact sheet based off of this one account, and it's going to go ahead and give you a nice report, which I'll go ahead and show here. And you're going to go ahead and see that it is labeled with Advisory World, which, hey, that's kind of the trade-off. It's not white labeled, but you can then go ahead and see these nice kind of these graphs. And again, you're not paying for anything, so it's just kind of built in as long as you turn on that integration in your Manage Integration section. There's a number of other integrations that are going to be dealing with the account section, so just make sure that you understand. You can hit the action icon next to the account number, and you can see a number of different options. Viewing details and running reports and such. You can do that here. Speaking of reports, if we go into the reports, or go into the options button in the top right, go to reports. You can go ahead and click into this, and you'll see that there's already a number of built-in reports for the CRM. Now, one thing I want to just kind of make note of is that we're a CRM tool. We are all about relationships and data capturing of the client. There are a number of great partners of ours that handle numbers much better than we do, and that's not a kick on anything that we do. It's just we're a CRM system. We go ahead and provide you these additional views and things like that, balances that make it very easy. So when you're on a phone, you can quickly take a look at what the balance is, again, without having to jump into another system. But if you're looking for some really deep dive reporting and things like that, definitely take a look at our third party partners, because there's just going to be a lot more functionality that they can handle that we just don't. And there's nothing wrong with that. So again, we have the accounts. You can go ahead and options, add anything that you want to go ahead and run reports for, add an account, all of that fun stuff here. Now, the other thing within an account, let's go ahead and scroll down to the bottom. So we went through some of these. Again, a lot of these dates are going to be things that you're going to go ahead and manually fill out. So allocation, strategic allocation model, those types of things. However, when you get to the bottom, there are things called account user-defined fields, as well as activities, notes, and documents. Now, if you're familiar with contact user-defined fields, you know that it is essentially a question that you ask, then you go ahead and put in an answer. It's really good for tracking things that the CRM is not already tracking. So it's exactly what it is described as. Is it's a field that you define as a user. So you'll see if I want to go ahead and add a user-defined field, I can hit add, and you're going to see that I have a number of different, maybe RMD amount, and I can go ahead and put that value, right? Maybe 3,500 or something like that. And I can go ahead and add that user-defined field. Maybe that's something that I'm tracking. Again, these are user-defined fields that are only for the account, okay? Not for the contact. They're going to be two separate lists that we can go ahead and do. These are just, again, overall good if there's not something that is already tracked within the account section, but you're like, hey, I really want to see what that RMD amount is for this, tax qualified account. Well, then great, we can go ahead and put that here. So those defined fields are something that you can customize. Now on the right-hand side, you're going to see under the other tab, you're going to see activities, notes, and documents. Now, what this is it allows us to link an activity to this account so that way we can see at a later date, hey, when we had that meeting, we talked about this account, or hey, they requested a money movement or a trade request and it came from this account. So then I can go ahead and link it and have all that history about this account right here. Same thing with notes. You can go ahead and click into the notes. And you're going to see all of the notes that were created that had this account linked to it. So if you're unfamiliar with where this is at, when you add a note, you're going to see that, because I'm already in here. So let's go ahead and add a note. You're going to see that in the creation of a note, you are able to link an account. This will only be available to you if you're already within the contact record and the system knows that you're adding this note for this contact. So you want to make sure, again, just kind of those building blocks, always go into a contact record first, then go ahead and do something. So in this example, if we're going to be adding a note, I'm going to go into Corey Matthews record first, then I'm going to create the note so that way I get, these accounts that I can go ahead and link to that note. Go ahead and link it and save note. And now I've created a note that was revolving account ending in 1743. So that's going to be the note section. And again, just like any other notes reporting, we can go ahead and filter, but it's only going to be the notes for this account. Let's see here. Let's go back a bit. And again, very similar to the create new activity. So if we go into our activities here, you're going to see that show completed. These are all of our completed activities. So that way I had some meeting. We did some money movement for Corey, or maybe we talked about some life insurance. So those are available to you. And again, the whole value of this is saying, hey, I had an activity or I created a note and we talked about this account, so that way I just have more levels of history that I'm building. Now, that is pretty much it. So we talked about reporting within the account section. However, on the left-hand side, we also have other reports. So you click into reports. The first option that you have is account reports. You're going to see that there's a number of different reporting options here. I'm not going to go into anything specific. You also have top end reports. This is going to be contacts more looking at account portfolio balances and things like that. So you do have some power here through the reporting. Just kind of want everybody to know what you have available to you. So accounts by tax qualified, types, things like that. Now, the last thing that I want to touch on today is this is just more of a general tip. So for all of you who are, have an account feed or you're doing things manually, I want to show this tip because I think this is super powerful when trying to clean up your account section. So what you'll see is I went to the contacts on the left-hand side, and I'm just going to quickly jump into one of my quick lists here that shows all of my active clients who have a portfolio balance of greater than 100,000. So what I can do is I can go ahead and click into this. And it doesn't really matter what search you do, but our end goal here is to say, hey, I have all of the accounts already created manually, or I have them coming over from an account feed, and they're missing some pieces of information, right? Some of those manual fields that I would love to have updated. Well, I don't want to have to go contact record by account record, by contact record, by account record, and so on and so forth, and fill out all of that stuff manually. It's kind of daunting. Sometimes that is just what we have to do because we're only as good as the data that we put in. However, if we want to do it much faster and we want to do it in a spreadsheet format, what you have the ability to do is run a search to where you have the contacts that you're looking to update. So I'm going to go ahead and, again, I ran a search, all my active clients who have a balance greater than 100,000. Then I can go ahead and select all of these contacts. I can select all contacts. And I can go to contact options on the right-hand side here, and I'm going to go into exports. By doing so, it's going to bring up an alphabetical list of all of the exports that I can run for these 42 selected contacts. The first option here is going to be accounts by contact. By clicking this, what I can then go ahead and do is I can open up accounts by contact, and it's going to give me a nice Excel document that would then allow us to see the contact ID and the account ID in the same format, which that is huge for updating information on the account level, because then I can see all of the accounts for this specific person. So you'll see here, and again, I'll go ahead and try to zoom in a bit. So if I go to view, just give me a second. We'll go ahead and just zoom in a bit. So you'll see I have quite a bit of holes under the tax qualified, those types of things that I may want to go ahead and update. But you're going to go ahead and see I have account ID and contact ID. You'll see for Polly, she's got 4 accounts or 6 accounts or so that I can update any manual information I want for this account just for Polly. Now, what you can do with this information and why this is important is because you can go ahead and adjust everything in this Excel document and then give us a call on the support lines and say, hey, I'd love to go ahead and update my account information. I have a spreadsheet. I've already built it out. Can you go ahead and send me a secure link so I can put this sensitive data, send it over to you, and then that way you guys can go ahead and upload it on the back end. And it's going to prevent me from having to go contact record by contact record by contact record. So again, this is a big piece of advice that I like to go ahead and show because it does just save you time, and time is money. If I can save you money, that means I'm making you money. Then you're going to be excited, right? You're going to be happy with Redtail. You're going to love us. But again, you already love us because 16 years, right? All right. So that's a good piece of information. We can go ahead and update those fields manually, or we can put it into a Excel spreadsheet and have us update it, save you some time. But again, if you are going to go ahead and do this, make sure that you do not delete this account ID or contact ID. It's what gives us and the indicator as to which object we are updating. So let's go ahead and close out of that. So that is pretty much it when it comes to accounts. Just to kind of reiterate some things, we have the two ways to get account information in. We can either do it manually by creating a shell and filling in all the balances that we feel are necessary, or we can go through an account feed and we can have that information updated on a nightly basis so that we see yesterday's balances today. And we can go ahead and do that by calling into the support lines. You have the ability to link family accounts or joint accounts. So within a contact record, I can go ahead and link those different ownerships or any other fields that we feel are necessary for our business to be successful. We can add accounts to notes and to activities, so that way we're seeing those interactions with the client based off of a specific account. And then the last one is that we have those reporting capabilities, whether it's using third-party integrations or it's using the built-in information with built-in reports within the CRM. We can go ahead and run those reports to give us some better idea and kind of jump into those numbers a bit more. So,
Thanks so much for joining us today for this particular session. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 800-206-5030, option 3 for support, or just shoot us an email over to support@redtailtechnology.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.